Desperate to achieve a distinction in your spoken language presentation? Well, I'm going to give you the 10 tips which will get you there. As ever, trust me, you're in safe hands, because this is Schofield on Shakespeare.
One of the 4 criteria for achieving a distinction is that you express sophisticated ideas, information, feelings using a sophisticated repertoire of vocabulary. So jot down 5 more complex words to weave into your talk. This doesn't mean that you don't use other more complex words. It's just that you will consciously make an effort to use these particular words to show off your vocabulary to the examiner and audience. As I do here, as I plan my talk on the legend that was composer Johann Sebastian Bach. Our dear Johann was incarcerated for several weeks in 1716. It's difficult to imagine how someone with his sensitive temperament must have suffered during this period. It was a low blow, a barbarous act from the Duke of Saxe-Weimar. And why was the maestro sent to prison? Essentially for mere impertinence. Imagery by definition tends to be more sophisticated. After all, you're linking 2 images together. So memorize one, even if it's a bit naff, to unleash within your presentation. As I do here when I reflect on the technical complexity of some of Bach's writing. The closing stages to his Toccata in F contain a fiendishly difficult range of semiquavers. My hands have to move as though they are on fire. We all know that you need to use rhetorical questions in a speech, but can you write 3 consecutive ones which get progressively more and more excitable? This is what I do here when I reflect on Bach's incarceration. How could such a sensitive soul be sent to jail? How could the authorities impose such a cruel sentence upon a veritable genius? And what may this historical footnote reveal about the blind corruption and idiocy of the ruling classes, both in the 18th century and perhaps now? Anaphora is, of course, the repetition of the same word or phrase within consecutive clauses. This technique can make your speech sound more memorable. In this use of anaphora, I make a number of references to other musicians and other perspectives across history before coming down firmly in favour of J.S. Even though others insist on the beauty of the Beatles, even though intellectuals seem to prefer the likes of Shostakovich and Rachmaninoff, and even though he is now deemed hopelessly old-fashioned, for me, the music of Bach remains timeless. The second criteria for achieving a distinction is that you organise and structure your presentation using an effective range of strategies to engage the audience. So get some dramatic short sentences in there. As I do here in a possible introduction. Deafening crashes from the organ. Deaf sequences from the harpsichord. Soul-affirming sequences from the strings. What is it that I am describing, dear friends? The sharp amongst you would have realised that in the previous example, I didn't actually name Bach. So why not experiment with building up before revealing your subject? George, I can see the tension in your face. You're desperate to learn what it is I'm going to talk about. Well, I'm going to inspire you today. I'm going to whip you up into a frenzy. I'm going to leave you desperate to find out more about Johann Sebastian Bach. Note that I referred to George in the previous example. Yes, you're giving a speech. So why not refer to either your audience as a whole or individuals present? They will be delighted. Gordon, you are smiling. You need to make sure your talk has a structure and isn't just a stream of consciousness. think about organising your talk into clear sections. Using a PowerPoint is, of course, not compulsory. However, one advantage of doing so is that you can show the audience and the examiner your different headings, which might be childhood and early life, early compositions, personal life, critical success, modern perspective. Criteria 3 is that you achieve the purpose of your presentation, which is presumably A, educating us about your passion, and B, not boring us to tears in the process. Remember that questions will follow the speech section, which should be open-ended and give you the opportunity to expand upon your previous points. So, of course, you need to ensure that you're an expert on your topic. Choose a topic that you already know a great deal about. And withhold some interesting facts which can potentially be unleashed during the questions section. Never just say yes or no. Have in your mind that you may need to speak for at least 30 seconds before being asked a question. Practice doing this with your friends or family members prior to the assessments.
This has been a Schofield on Shakespeare production, giving you those essential tips to propel you towards a distinction in your spoken language presentation for GCSE English language. Many thanks for watching.